Well, happy Friday, you handsome lot. Let's get back to this F31 that we did notice that it needed 2 rear shock absorbers on it. And today we're going to be fitting some Monroe rear shocks. Now these are second to none. Let's get involved. So let's get this absolutely stunning BMW up in the air and get them both rear wheels off. Right, well, with both them back wheels now removed off the vehicle, we can now actually see the shock absorbers. You can probably do these with the wheels on, but it's just a lot easier if you take them off. Now, if you can see this driver's side rear, if I rub my finger around it, absolutely saturated. And this has been leaking for quite some time if we go underneath and have a little look at the staining where all the oil has leaked out of the shock absorber. On this side, the same. It's not as bad as the driver's side, but it is leaking. Now we're going to be changing these in pairs, as you've just seen. So we're going to crack on now with the job. First things first, at the bottom of the suspension arm, there is a plastic cover, which we do need to remove. I have done off the side already. And holding them on, there is 4 10mm. And then plastic trims, they just clip off. Now what we're going to do is go around and get our cordless drill with a wire brush on the end and give them threads with the bottom of the shock absorber a good cleaner rooney. We're also going to give them a quick blast of Launch Power Lube Plus. Now this stuff, 1 tin would probably last you months. You only need, I honestly, now this is no word of a lie, if I can zoom in, can I zoom a rooney in? You only need this much. That is it. Hardly anything. As you can see, it is bubbling away, working itself into them threads. It's absolutely insane, this stuff. It really is. And remember, whatever you do this side, you're going to do on that side, because we're going to be replacing it in pairs. Now let's move around to the pinch bolt holding the shock absorber in. Before we undo it, we're going to get ourselves a nice little apprentice, just to give that arm a little bit of a support, because when you undo it, it might just drop down, and we don't really want it dropping down and damaging anything, so always support it. Now once you remove that 18mm, that shock absorber now should be nice and loose, so we can poke it up, or you can drop the car down and undo the bolts on the top mount. Now the upper mounts on these, there is 3 of them, and they are an E14. And what we're going to do now, if I just stick my camera there, give me a little go. We can get these bolts buzzed out. Be careful, because they can corrode and they can snap. Can you see all that corrosion? There we go, that is the 3 out, and that should now, with a little bit of magic, oh, drop my torch, should just pull out. Give it a wiggle, pull it out of the way, just like that, with a little bit of magic, eh? Now with that little shock absorber now in my little trolley, we need to get the top mount off. Now how we do it is get a little pry bar and get that plastic cap off, pop it out of the way. Can you see all that dreadful corrosion around there? We're going to have to get our wire brush on it and give it a good cleaner rooney. Now with everything cleaned down with my wire brush and looking like brand new, we put a little bit of Power Lube Plus in it again. And because we're not worried about damaging the insert of the shock absorber, we're going to clamp it with a pair of mole grips, get a gun, and hopefully it should come and do just like that. Now the key to doing all these jobs nice and easy is making sure that everything, and I mean everything, nuts and bolts, fixtures and fittings, is spotless and with some nice lubrication. It's going to help them come undone nice and easily. Right, let's get these brand new Monroes on them bump stops, or should we say them bump stops on them new shocks. I'll let you decide. Now before we put these bump stops back on and these protective covers, we're going to give them a good wiper rooney down and get all that old oil off, and it'll just look so much better when we put them back on the car. Right, now with everything built back up, we do need to tighten this top mount up. Now what you're probably going to say is, oh look at the ball grips on there, you're going to damage it, you're going to damage it. Right, what you need to remember is that that shock absorber, right at the top here where them clamps, vice grips are clamped, that's never going to go anywhere near the seals in the shock absorber. It's got to get past the bump stop first. So what we're going to do now is get an gun. We're going to knit these up now. There is a tool for them, a through socket with an Allen key and a 16mm, but it's something that I haven't invested in yet because I don't do a lot of like fast fit stuff. If that makes sense. Right, let's get the right socket that fits it. And that is going to be plenty tight enough. Now with that shock absorber somewhere near back in place, what we're going to do, the bolt that goes through the bottom of the wishbone, or the suspension arm, whatever you want to call it, we're going to cover it in a little bit of copper grease, because we do like being preventative. Now what we're going to do is push the shock absorber down. I'm going to have to be fairly quick with it. Lift it up, put the bolt in place. I'm going to make it a little bit easier for us to manoeuvre it. Now what I'm going to do is that top mount, put it the right way round. Now because you've got to tighten because the bush and the shock absorber is solid and you're tightening it up, when you jack the car up or put it down on the floor, it's going to twist that bush. So what I'm going to do, I have to think out of the box a little bit. I'm going to pull it down, and when that suspension arm goes up, it's going to bring that shock absorber in. So we're going to tighten it up, I'd probably say somewhere near about there rather than there. Are you with me? Does that make sense? Let's get the 18mm now. Keep it in place. Keep it in place. Perfect. Now what we're going to do, pull the damper back down and push it over. So that bush is kind of twisted. We're going to get them 3 E14s back in. Right, well I've now skipped forward a little bit and we've carried out the process on the passenger side as well. As you can see, dated them. Everything's looking like brand new now. I've also put the date on them. Everything, I like to have everything matching. See, stickers on the outside, the date going that way. This side, stickers on the outside, date going that way. Like up rather than straight. Don't know why. Just like to be different. Like to be different. Right, now with both them shock absorbers now fitted back to the vehicle, what we're going to do is think back to the beginning of the video when I did me a little bit of a time lapse removing the wheels. I had to give them a good clackaroonie to get them off. Now what I've done, got my wire brush. We like cleaning and we like prevention. Clean the hub flange down and also clean the wheel, and we've just put a light coating of grease on the centre of that wheel there, because it'd be nothing worse if this customer went down the road, had a puncture and that wheel was stuck on. So if they ever have to come off again, or another mechanic has to carry any work out, then wheels are going to come off relatively simple. And there we go, that car now is back on the floor with all the wheels torqued up. Now I'm going to be taking it for a little bit of a test drive, but however I have spoke to the customer. He is a good friend of mine. I was like, look mate, I said, this car of yours has got a lot of hidden functions. Do you want me to code them in for you and have a bit of a play with it? So I have done. I've done a few little bits of coding. Now one of them, which I do like, is when you plonk the car in reverse, the lights underneath the handle, if I just plonk it out reverse now, I don't know if you can see them, but them lights go back in reverse, come on and off. as he's reversing. I think that's pretty trick, to be honest. There's lots of stuff with these BMWs that you can code and have a play with and pretty much personalise the car. Now, I'm sure when he gets back off his holiday, he's going to jump in his car and it is going to be absolutely transformed after I've done that steering rack repair and the 2 rear shock absorbers and a few other little bonus features that I've chucked in for him. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video. And I'm going for a little bit of a test drive because we all know by now I do like these BMWs. Anyway, let's get it sent. Oh, have an awesome weekend because it's Friday. It's come around rather quick this week. But yeah, job's a good one.